Hello everyone, this is Anna from our Paper Paradise, and today I'm going to show you how to make this snowflake. This will be the last in our snowflake series. It was supposed to be out before Christmas, but we all know life happens and I couldn't do it then, but I'm doing it now, so here you go. This is mostly made with the technique of using the comb. So if you want to practice in that area, this is a great one for that. As usual, all the materials and dimensions for creating this project will be mentioned in the description. And let's get to work. We are going to start with a small light blue strip. We're going to make the center of this snowflake. For that, all we have to do is slide our strip into our quilling tool and then start curling it. We're going to hold it as tight as we can because we want a tight coil at the end of this. So once we reach the end, we just have a little tap there. We are going to put some glue down and roll it over to close. Hold it a little bit until it dries. And we have our first piece of this project. We are going to take a pin, slide it through the hole there, and put it right in the center of this corkboard. This grid is also linked in the description. I usually just print a bunch of them and put packing tape over it so the paper doesn't stick to it. So once we have the first part done, we're going to start making these diamond shapes. There are 6 of them, so you get to practice a little bit on this, and this is a great project to practice your comb skills. So you're going to need the comb, and you're going to take a small white strip. We are going to slide it under the first 2 tines there, and I'm just choosing ones that lay in the middle, more or less. This is an uneven number of tines, so it's never going to be perfectly centered, but you just want it in the middle. You bring that little tab over, you put some glue there, and then you fold this big tab to that side. We want to make sure everything is aligned there and it's gluing down. Now, I hope the camera is focusing well on this because I'm going to have to alternate between views. We're going to go 1 tine over and wrap the string around and wrap the strip around. 1 tine over on each side, and then we're going to put some glue on there and close. Make sure you're always putting the glue on the same side because that will influence the end result. So if you're started with this up, always make sure you put the glue on this side. Next step, we are going to do the same exact thing, going 1 over on this side, going 1 over on that side, and then gluing the back shut. And now you see you have 3 loops of white on these tines. We're going to cut the excess off right there. Now we are going to bring in the medium blue. We're going to lay on some glue. And we're going to start doing the same thing but with the blue strip now. So we just glued it to the back of the white. We had 1 tine over one time over on this side as well, and then glue it down. Same process, one over, glue it down. One over, and now we just have this little tab here that we have to glue down. As you wrap it, you can always make sure that everything is at the same level. We don't want uneven strips here. All right, only one more to go. So now we're going to use the dark strip. Glue all over the back. We are going to put this down like that. See, I already did one over on this side, and I'm going one over on this side, and then I'm going to glue it down. Now this is going to be a little different because what I'm going to do with this strip is I'm just going to reinforce it. So I'm going to go around the same loop twice. So this is one, and now instead of going one over here, I'm going to go on exactly the same one, and I'm also going to put glue on the rest of the strip and then glue it down. So you can see there's 3 loops of white, 3 loops of medium blue, and 1 loop reinforced of dark blue. Alright, we got our shape. And you can say, this looks nothing like this. No, it won't look like it until you shape it. So what we're going to do is we are going to hold the bottom here, and we're going to kind of press things around. We basically want to bring the opposite sides together. Don't worry too much about what's happening down here right now. Just bring the 2 sides together and pinch it. Really pinch it. Don't be afraid of it. And we have a diamond shape that we need to glue this a little bit more because apparently the glue came off. And you can always grab your tweezers and kind of push that in. Hold it there for a little bit. And of course that changed the shape there, but we are going to fix it like that. So we can always fix whatever problems we have. And if you need to continue to shape things, you can always push it back a little bit. Get this guy open there. And we have our diamond shape. Once you have all of these made, the process is always the same. We are gonna start gluing them down, and for that I highly recommend you have a corkboard and some kind of grid pattern, because this will help you make sure that everything is aligned and nicely shaped. It's very useful for patterns that are symmetrical and that have shapes that need to be set at a certain position. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting a layer of glue around the center there. Now I'm going to start bringing these guys towards that. And you can see I'm going to be using the red lines as a guideline. You can see they're a little thinner than the lines. So we're gonna have to kind of push them down a little bit so they squat a little more. You can always go back and forth with this until you have what you need. And we're going to be using pins to make sure everything stays in place. Okay, so that one was already sticking there. We're going to grab a pin. You want to put the pin as close to the edge as possible, kind of push it in there. And then I'm also going to put one pin on this corner and one pin on this corner. I might add more later, but this is how I'll start. All right, so now I'm going to put a layer of glue on this side of the shape there, and I'm going to bring another one to touch it. Pin. Gonna pin right there. And another pin right there. Continue the same process. I'm kind of making sure these corners are matched up, and also I'm pressing down to make sure everything is leveled. I always do that in my projects as I go. So you see there's a bit of a gap there. You can always grab two pins, put one on each side, and kind of push them together. Now you can go around and see if there's any gaps. You can always go with your tweezers and kind of press them together, or you can put a pin and make sure they are pressing together to get everything glued down. Now we're going to let this dry and work on the rest of it, which is just this little frill on the edge. For that, you will also need the quilling comb. However, this technique is going to be a little different than what we were doing before. It starts exactly the same, but how you weave it, it's going to be different. So we're going to start with the two center tines there. We're going to bring the tab over. Put some glue down. And fold that over. And now I like to work at the top here because it's easier to maneuver. So I'm going to do this. We've got the tab. I went under the next sign, and then I'm going to come over and glue it down. Under the next sign and glue it down. Under the next one and glue it down. So instead of wrapping continuously, it goes under and back, under and back, under and back. Under. You can see how it's looking on this side. It has the bumps there. and we're going to use this strip until it's done. So make sure you're pulling fairly tight as you go so that they're snug there, or else you won't have enough strip for the whole thing. But at the same time, don't pull too much, or this will happen. The tines will come together too much and then you'll have something weird. So just enough to be tight, but not enough to deform them. Last one. And done. As always, make sure everything is lined up. We don't want anything sticking out. And as you can see on this side, it's all full of little bumps. We're going to slide this off the tool, and we're going to press our nail right in the center of the middle one, and give it a slight bend. It doesn't need a lot. And there we have it. I already made the other ones, but once you have done that, we can proceed to put them in place. So for this part of the process, what we're going to do is lay some glue on these little guys on the back. Gonna slide them right in there, making sure the center is more or less there. And we're gonna grab a pin and put it there. Now, you can also grab pins and put them here to make sure everything is gluing together and it has the right shape. I usually don't need to do that. It just kind of fits in there. And as you can see, I'm kind of moving things around to get the shape I want. So long as you are placing it there and then pushing it down to make sure it's level, I think you're okay. But you can use as many pins as you like or you feel comfortable with. And you just continue doing this all the way around. There we are. Now all we have to do is wait for it to dry completely, and then we can remove the pins and embellish it some more or not, up to you. To remove the pins, make sure you're holding everything down like this and then pull them off. You don't want anything to come attached to the pins. For some reason the glue stuck or something. So just hold everything down and then pull the pins off. You can cover it in glitter. You can just leave it like is. You can put a little gem in there. If you do put gems on it, I recommend using E6000 for gluing the gems. You can put a little ribbon through it and hang it. You can glue it on a card. It's all up to you, but you have created your snowflake. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing and clicking the like button. And I'll see you next time. Bye.